All right, friends, who has seen this book before? That does say Good Night Moon. The name of this book is Good Night Moon. Does anybody see the moon?
Yeah, I see the moon.
Do you see the, Morgan, can you turn toward me? There's the moon. You see the moon? In this picture, there's a round moon and there's some stars. What is that? Does anybody know what that is?
A fire.
It's a fireplace. There's a fire in the fireplace. Here's the cover of our book, friends at home. I'm going to move this a little bit closer. All right. That is funny. The name of our book is Good Night Moon. Morgan, can you turn your body so you're facing me, please? Your body. Thank you. All right, River, have a seat. River, do you know this book? Do you know what it's called? Good Night Moon. Good Night Moon by Margaret Wise Brown with pictures by Clement Hurd. Good Night Moon. In the great green room, there was a telephone, a red balloon, and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. Look at all those pictures. I'm going to bring it around again. Everybody's going to see it again. In the great green room, River, in the great green room, there's no roaring in this book. There was a telephone, a red balloon, and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there it is. There it is. The cow jumping over the moon. It's right above the fireplace. There were 3 little bears sitting in chairs. There were 3 little bears sitting in chairs. There were 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens. Do you see where the 2 little kittens and the pair of mittens were? Can you find the 2 little kittens and the pair of mittens, Robbie? Where are they?
Right here.
Yepers, they're hanging out to dry. The pair of mittens and the 2 little kittens are on the floor. You have to repeat it in English. Black and white kittens.
That's old school.
Yeah, black and white kittens. 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens. A little toy house. A little toy house and a young mouse. There's a young mouse. I see him way over here. He's right here. A little toy house and a young mouse. The mouse is right here. He's right there, he's white. A comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. A comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady whispering hush.
Who is it?
It's me, quiet old lady.
Is it Bunny?
A comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush and a quiet old lady whispering hush. And now we're going to say goodnight to everybody. Everything we saw. There it is. Good night, moon. We're saying goodnight to everything in the room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon.
That's the moon.
Yep, good night moon. Good night cow jumping over the moon.
There's one more page.
I'm gonna turn the page.
Can't even see.
Good night light and the red balloon. Good night bears. Good night chairs.
I can't see.
It's coming.
Good night,
Good night light and the red balloon. Good night bears. No, thank you, River. Good night bears. Good night chairs. Good night kittens. And good night mittens.
There's me. There's one, two. There's one, two.
Good night clocks and good night socks. Good night clocks and good night socks.
Good night, clocks and good night.
Good night clocks and good night socks.
No, that's funny.
All right, listening. Good night little house and good night little mouse. Good night little house and good night little mouse.
That's a cool house. I'm gonna go inside the house. Let's see. Mouse.
Good night comb. Good night brush. Good night comb. Good night brush. Here comes my favorite page. Good night nobody. And good night mush. Good night nobody.
I mean, good night, nobody.
Good night nobody.
Right.
And good night mush. And good night to the old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night to the old lady who was whispering, hush.
I'm hungry.
Good night stars. Good night air. Good night stars. Good night air.
And there's snow.
Nope, those are stars. And good night noises everywhere.
I can't see.
Good night, it's coming. Good night noises everywhere.
Good night, warehouse.
Good night little house. I'm gonna read it through one more time really fast. I'm just gonna hold it here and you can see the pictures. Good night moon. In the great green room, there was a telephone, a red balloon, and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. No, thank you, Ruben. No, thank you. Do you need to go for a walk? Thank you. There were 3 little bears sitting in chairs. There were 2 little kittens and a pair of young mittens. There was a little toy house and a young mouse, a comb and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady whispering, hush. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light in the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens. Good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, little mouse. Good night, comb. Good night brush, here it comes. Good night. Nobody, and good night mush. And good night to the old lady who was whispering hush. Good night stars. Good night air. And good night noises everywhere. And now everyone's asleep. And now we are going to make our very own good night moon picture. If you'll notice, I have a window, just like the window on the cover of the book. A window. I have a picture of a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who is whispering, hush. I have a cow jumping over the moon. I have 3 little bears sitting in chairs. And I have a crescent moon. The first thing I am going to do is take my great green room, which is a big green piece of paper. So this is the great green room.
That's green.
It is green, and I am going to take my, let me see if I can get that, thank you, Alex. I'm going to take my window, and I'm going to do some dip, 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 glue, glue, gluing. I'm going to do my glue stick. Oh, thank you, River. And I'm going to do some dip, 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 and some spread, spread, spread. Some dip, 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 and some spread, spread, spread. So the first thing I'm putting on, River, is my, River, you can't pay attention.
Hands in your lap, please.
I'm going to put my window on my green paper. I'm going to put it down right here. You can put it where you want. I'm going to tap, 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 tap. Then I'm going to put some glue on my moon. I'm going to do some dip, dip, dip. I'm going to put it right here, inside the blue. And then I have other pictures to choose from. And I'm going to just glue them onto the paper anywhere I want. So you can choose 1 picture, 2 pictures, 3 pictures, 4 pictures. So I'm going to start with myself, the quiet old lady whispering hush. That's always who I was in the story when I read it to my kids. And also when my mother read it to me. I was always a quiet old lady, bossing everybody around. I'm sure that shocks you all. All right, I'm gonna put the quiet old lady in my room. There she is. Then I'm gonna put the comb and the brush and the bowl full of mush in my room. Dip, dip, dip. Spread, spread, spread. Glue, glue, glue. Pat, pat, pat. And I love the 3 little bears sitting in chairs.
And that's over there.
Yep, it is over there.
Yeah.
That's the, I'm gonna put them right up here.
You put that
Do you want me to put this picture on, Morgan? You want me to put the,
All 4. Whoa.
the cow jumping over the moon? I'm gonna put the cow jumping over the moon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some dip, 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 and some glue, glue, glue. And just like that,
Beautiful.
that's my good night moon story. Just like that. Do you want to give this a try?
Yeah.
The
Let's do
first
it.
thing, I want you to listen to my instructions. The first thing that goes on is the window. The second thing that goes on is the moon. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to try this right here on the blue rug. Do you think you can do that, or you want to sit at the table? You want to sit at the table? All right, we'll go to the table. We will not deviate from the norm. Thank you.